Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Alleypalooza. Let me start by recognizing all of the neighbors and council member and ANC commissioners that serve and live on Allen Place Northwest, right here in beautiful Ward 1. Let me also recognize our director for the Department of Transportation, Leif Dormsjo, and the entire DDOT team. Give DDOT a big round of applause. I also want to say thank you for being out here, and I'm going to talk really quickly. We started Alleypalooza just over a year ago in July 2015. And since then, the district has repaired or reconstructed nearly 300 alleys across all 8 wards in the District of Columbia. I challenged Leif that summer. I think you all know I was a ward council member before I was elected mayor, and I have been concerned all those 8 years that the district wasn't doing enough, investing enough to keep up with alley repairs in the district. Alleys are a critical part of our infrastructure. People use the alleys to access their homes, to access their garages. Our public works workers use the alleys to pick up trash, and our alleys have fallen into disrepair. When I was elected first in 2007, I asked the DDOT director, poor DDOT director then, how long would it take to get all of our list of alleys in a state of good repair at this rate? You know what he told me? 40 years. And so if we want to change that trajectory, we have to do something differently. We have to be smart about identifying and assessing the condition of our alleys across the city. We have to be smart about budgeting those dollars. And DDOT has to be smart about deploying those resources so that when I say DDOT Director Leif Dormsjo, can we do 8 alleys in 8 weeks across all 8 wards? His answer was yes. And then they did it so well, I said, let's do it again. So we did Alleypalooza #2 in the same year. So when we came back to do 3 and 4, Leif said that we had more difficult alleys that would require a little bit more time and maybe even a little bit more investment because they were longer. They had more significant drainage problems. They had issues that the neighbors had been telling us about for years, and in some cases, decades. So that's what we're focused now on Alleypalooza #4. So let me just also say this. There will be a lot of things in a city like ours that we have to invest in when we have to be smart about it. The roads, alleys, sidewalks, and streetlights are the first things that you see when you walk out your door. So I just want you to know while we're always going to be talking about schools. We're always going to be talking about public safety. We're always going to be talking about investing in our human services safety net. We are always have to be talking about investing in our infrastructure because that's the only way that we can make sure we enjoy a great quality of life for those of us who live here right now, and for all of those who want to live in Washington, D.C. So that's what Alleypalooza is all about. Now, Leif is going to tell you a little bit more.
Thank you, Mayor Bowser. Your decision to prioritize the district's infrastructure is enhancing the quality of life for people across the entire city. Good morning, everyone. I'm Leif Dormsjo. I'm the director of the District Department of Transportation. We're really excited to be here for the kickoff. Actually, we kicked off the Alleypalooza work a little earlier so we could beat the winter, but this really captures the level of effort that we've put into infrastructure investment and the motivation of having these Alleypaloozas is it's more than just the residents. Our workforce, the DDOT personnel and our contractors, they love this stuff. They love being measured. What gets measured gets done. We're bringing that type of discipline to all our asset classes. As the mayor mentioned, it's not just alleys. We're focused on sidewalk productivity. We're focused on the streets. We're going to do some big things with streetlights in the near future. So we love these types of events that really crystallize why we work in this space. And it's not just DDOT. The mayor's office of Community Relations and Services is a critical partner here. I know that Tommy Jones is the director. I don't see him in the audience today, but I want to especially thank him and his team. We work with the Mokers, as you know them. The mayor designates the Mokers as her eyes and ears within the various wards. We do a lot of work with them to figure out exactly the right list of assets to focus on. They gather intelligence from the ANCs, from the community associations. We've actually trained them in how to go out and do a first evaluation. Not that we're going to let them engineer every single project. I think that would be a little bit, risky. But we do get their input, and it's pretty detailed input so that they understand what our scoring criteria is, and we can really focus on the worst first. And that's been a great partnership. I expect that to continue as we focus on these other asset classes beyond alleys. But I do want to thank the residents. I had a chance to talk to a number of you this morning. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you demanding more from your government. It's with that type of community activism that we can tackle big things. And we're tackling a lot of alleys this year, on the heels of an impressive effort last year. In 2015, we took care of 64 and then another 70 alleys, and in total, when you include the other alleys that we did last year, we hit about 200 alleys.
Awesome.
Okay, 200 alleys in one season. That's an all-time record. This year, because the extent of the work that we need to do, the time that it takes to work on some of the longer alleys, as the mayor described, we're probably going to be in the 150 range. But I mean, think about that, 350 alleys in a 2-year period of time, and it's pretty remarkable stuff. This day marks our commitment to making sure that when you call for service, you get service. And I want to encourage people to continue to use 311. It helps inform where we're going to focus. Okay, we do the condition assessment, but we also factor in the number of complaints and the specificity of those complaints. So we want to use this as an opportunity to continue to broadcast 311. You can get to us by phone, you can get to us by email, you can also use the 311 app. This whole campaign, this next Alleypalooza 4, Alleypalooza 4 is $9.8 million of investment. Each of the Alleypaloozas has run about $10 million. That's a significant amount of investment in infrastructure, and we expect to really work with the City Council going forward to make sure they continue to support this budgetary priority. We've shown that we can deliver. We want to make sure it's sustained over a multi-year period of time, because it's not going to be 40 years under this administration, that's for sure. Not with a demanding and a results-oriented boss like this. She's not sticking around for 40 years to watch this happen. We're going to get it done. We're going to get it done quickly, and the productivity that we have right now is definitely something that keeps our troops working very hard. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Leif. And thanks you again to our DDOT team. And I see Kristen Barden from our Adams Morgan bid is here. And you have a prop. And I know what that means. It means shop small. This Saturday is Small Business Saturday, correct? And we're encouraging everybody to go to Adams Morgan, go to our other local neighborhood corridors, and to support locally owned and operated businesses. So please do that. And so I'm happy to answer a few questions.
We talked about recently about transportation. Certainly this is part of it, but you had some comments recently in Miami about the infrastructure and what we need in D.C. to accommodate the mushrooming population growth.
So you're asking me to say what we need in D.C. to accommodate growth? Okay.
Transportation transportation.
Yes, I think the gentleman refers to comments I made recently when I was asked to talk about cities and growth and sustainability. And I repeated what I say often, that this is a city that is a certain size and we're not getting any new roads and we're getting a lot of new people. So our entire system has to work, and it starts with public transportation. So making Metro safe, reliable and affordable, and having an eye towards growth is what's going to make it work. We in the district are very focused, and Director Dormsjo is one of my representatives on the Metro board. We're invested in not kicking the problem down the road. Many leaders have recognized this problem for at least a couple of decades, and now we know it's a critical time to make tough decisions around Metro. As it relates to the other parts of the infrastructure, not everybody's going to use public transportation. So what is it going to take to have our roads in a state of good repair? And Leif also is working on a plan so that he can tell me, so that I can work with the city council to make a sustained investment in getting our roads in a state of good repair. And Leif can tell you a little bit more about those conditions. Finally, we also want people who are walking and biking to be safe, and that's why we have been so focused on Vision Zero and making sure that engineering of our roadways supports people being able to walk, access transit, and bike safely. Part of that initiative, of course, is how do we incentivize people to do the right thing as it relates to enforcement of our rules. And any good public infrastructure transportation campaign will involve educating the public about how to use the system properly. Anything else? Tom?
What does this mean in terms of getting snow removal on these alleys? Some of them are so bad it's hard to plow them. Will these alleys?
We don't plow alleys, Tom. We don't plow alleys. Never have.
Why not? It's part of the transportation where people park their cars.
We plow the streets, and we also encourage, and it's a good time to reiterate the responsibility of homeowners and business owners to property owners, I should say, to clear the sidewalks in front of their respective properties.
Whose responsibility is the alley? Abutting owners?
There is no law that requires abutting owners to clear alleys. The law relates to sidewalks. And the why not, you ask? If we were to add all the miles, I don't know how many miles of alleys we have. We have over 300 miles of alleys, and if we add that to the hundreds of miles of roadway that we have, we would have to have an entirely different snow removal process, equipment, staff, and personnel. In the city, given our climate, and while we have storms, they are intermittent. We have to make some decisions about what do we want to set up a snow removal regime like that.
Then I'll ask a more relevant question.
Thank you.
With the Trump administration coming into office on January the 20th, while you have many political differences with the Republicans and Mr. Trump himself, do you think you'll be able to get the Republicans to do more of the infrastructure in the city that you think the city needs, including Metro help?
I think that it would appear to be an area of common ground. So we will see what they come up with, the package that is presented to the Congress. I will say that this campaign on both sides, on this whole campaign season, there's been much more of a discussion about public infrastructure. Now, President Obama has been pretty focused on public infrastructure too. It just never managed to get out of the Congress. So perhaps we'll see a different a different sense of urgency as it relates to infrastructure. We have a lot. I will call out not only Metro. We think that the federal government definitely needs to come to the table and pay its fair share. That relates to capital spending, but also operations, and that is part of ongoing discussions that we'll have. The federal government has a bridge that its own National Park Service says will be in such a state of disrepair the cars won't be able to use it in 2020. They need to figure out how they're going to come up with the $200 million to do that. Also part of our public infrastructure are the beautiful parks that we enjoy here and very close to this neighborhood. We're very lucky to have Rock Creek Park and the other national parks, including the mall, that need significant infrastructure investment to maintain their beauty. And so thousands of Washingtonians and Americans can continue to enjoy it. So public transit, bridges, roadways, parks, and lastly, most people don't include the affordable housing stock when they talk about infrastructure, but we do, and the federal government has a role to play in investing in public housing stock, and we hope that this administration will take a different look at it. Sam.
Yes, Mayor, you mentioned President Obama. Isn't he moving into this neighborhood?
That's what I hear.
Any changes because of that on the part of the city?
Well, we're going to provide him excellent service just like we do the people here at Allen Place. How about that?
But nothing else? There's no particular focus?
Well, obviously, he will continue to be in the Secret Service's care, and I don't know that we have any particular request at this point, but I expect that we will. Thank you, everybody. Enjoy.